Okay, I just thought I would do this like a live Q&A type of thing. What I'm going to do, kind of do it a little different. I'm going to do this video here, and on our sidebar here, everybody can chime in and ask me questions and things about ancient civilizations or whatever, and I'll try to answer it. I'm going to answer it again, though, on another video because I can't type back quick enough to make it happen in here, but I'll get your questions. I'll be typing to you back into this while it's going on, but at the same time I'm going to do a video where I go into things deeper than any typing that I could go. And you know as well as I do, whenever somebody's inflexing their voice and describing things, it helps create a picture that typing couldn't create, even if you said the exact same words. So anyhow, going over my site here, over 1.5 million views, and it does look like that it's been stifled now finally. And after me making fun of the fact that I ended up getting 1.5 million views, but my videos only showed that I had a little over 38,000 views in that period of time, and so I've got 500,000 views in one part of the ratio, and the other one says, "Oh, you got 38,000 views, congratulations!" And it's like, what? Now it seems to be a little bit more reasonable and not clocking them as well. And of course, I don't think I may be getting as many views. And strangely, I feel that a lot of people aren't getting their notifications, and if any, late at all. And a lot of people that used to chime in and talk a lot aren't doing it anymore. And I don't know if I've done things like made too many debunk videos rather than showing you ancient cultures, which really what the site was supposed to be about in the first place, and or what it is. I think I totally lost some people. I looked at the analytics one time. I don't do this very much. And I looked at the analytics one time and I saw a little drop after I did 3 videos in a row about ancient civilizations and one thing. And I said, well, maybe I ought to go to something else. But it just could have been something. Could have been actually the trolls that were leaving and things like that. So it could be a lot of different things. But I'm going to go to my videos here that's on the channel. I've got over 1,400 videos now. And I keep telling people I got over 1,200 on the channel. Well, hell, I said 1,000 for a long time. But yeah, so if you got any questions, you can type over here in the sidebar, and I'll try to give them a good, straight, honest answer. I'm going to do another video where I'm watching back and referring to your stuff over in the sidebar. By the way, if trolls get in here, I'm just going to be knocking you out, not even referring to it, not even referring to it. Hey, if you come up with a good enough, legitimate, logical, non-racist, idiot question, I'll actually try to probably, maybe, answer it. But if you've been the idiot that's been acting a fool for so long and trolling me, you're not really worth it in the first place. But be surprised if I do. So here's a whole lot of my videos, but we're going to go back into the old format, because if you do, then you can actually see things a little bit better. And they make you have to tell them why you want to go back in the old format now. And well, beta's too slow. You saw how long that took to load. This other one, whenever you decide to do it, takes about 4 seconds. The other one took about 30. And when it does, it still doesn't have the interface up good enough. So when they talk about beta, they're talking beta. But yeah, there's a bunch of videos that are right here. Anyone that has a lock on it are videos that I haven't even put out yet. And yeah, after I do editing and stuff, hey, I want to make a mention of this. Whenever I do editing, it keeps screwing me up in the editor, and I don't see this on other people's channels so much, but I don't really kind of look for it. So it's kind of one of those things that you don't recognize other people have the same kind of car as you until you get one, and then you realize there's a whole lot of cars like this. But it could be. But every time I edit out 2 minutes and 8 seconds out of something in the middle because I rant and go off in left field like I do too much, and decide to take some of that out of the video, for I just, I go off in left field, so just snippet that out. And I think you can notice that I'm not the greatest editor in the world, but whenever I do so, sometimes, not always, it takes 2 minutes and 8 seconds off the end of the video too. And so there's man, there must be 20 videos I've made that have the salutation totally cut off of them, and even multi-part videos. There's one where I'm going, okay, go in the top left-hand corner and da da da, and we'll see you there, and it just goes, okay, go in the left, and it just, why did it do that? Well, it cut off the whatever 1 minute and 12 seconds or whatever I cut off of whatever it was before and everything. So anyhow, ask me any questions and I'll see if I can give you a straightforward answer to it, or see if I can direct you someplace. And things happen in here where, oh man, this was cherished. This is where he tried to say the little white woman on the vase was a sub-Saharan Negroid, and that's what Ethiopians meant, and then I make fun of that. There's another one at the very top I'm about to release where he tries to pull the same thing, and he tries to claim Amazons and stuff too, and yeah, and then he tries to say, but they're the Nubians, but they're way over in North Africa, all the way out at the Pillars of Hercules area near the Atlantis and Atlas Mountains, but then they're Nubians. But then you've seen him before. He says Nubians are Ethiopians and they're Egyptians and they're sub-Saharans, and you're like, dude, what? What? No, no. But I put out a lot of stuff, and I try to stay out of recent stuff, like where this guy gets the hell beat out of him and so on. And I've got some on, immigration problems and ABC's a master senpai. The reality of John 3:16. I've kind of steered away from the Bible here recently because I consider that, with what I study, really to be kind of modern and kind of the modern edge of what I like to study. That's the way that works. So hopefully some of the things I talk about here might spurn things or some pictures or anything. But yeah, I made one of Fredo Cuomo trying to make fun of Trump in some way. Somebody else did a Jesse Smollett problem. There's a Jesse Smollett trying to get it dismissed on him. Virtue singlers. I'll let that go sometime soon here real quick. Lies of Nubia that came out. I haven't released this yet, and I was going to do this on Saturday night. Took a nap in the afternoon and then couldn't decide really which one I wanted to do, and I've got like 40 hours worth of video built up that I haven't put out, so I need to really just put out some blurred. But every time I do, nobody gets to see them. If I put out one video, it'll get 250 views, up and down 100. And if I put out a second one, it gets almost half that. If I put out a third, it gets almost half that. Sometimes people come back and watch them, and if it's a decent one, I guess, it gets some more views, but it almost seems like a waste, and you want to do it one per day. But hey, maybe I'll take a vacation from making, like I did a little bit ago, and I did right around Christmas, and actually just pump out these slowly but surely as I'm doing more deeper studies and making new videos. But then I won't ever break through that 40 hours worth of built up crap, will I? Huge boat dock found in British Isle of Wight, and this predates Egypt's beginning and stuff. It's 8,000 years ago, so it's 6,000 BC, so it's got quite a bit on it actually, and it's showing you some ancient times and what people are led to believe before the coming of the people into, like Scythians and so on, that blended with the UK people. What actually were there were very capable people. It wasn't like that. It's the way that a lot of people think. I've got one on a troll guy, and it's funny. I've got this to go out because on one video he rant raved, and within 2 days he put on, I don't know what it was, a 38 or whatever post, just ranting, just one sentence and one sentence and one sentence and one sentence. And so I do that, but what's funny is now he's got about twice as much on there. It would look even more silly. And some of the things that he said, and right here at the very end, I think he's the one that just said 3 days ago that he was leaving and he wasn't coming back no more. And then he spent the last 3 days coming back more. But you know how that is. You can't trust a black person to go on their word in any way, shape, or form. As he tried to claim the Bible, he went off into Samuel L. Jackson mode. I was going to do a video on it. Kind of did a partial, and then I thought I'd leave it alone. Oh, you wonder what that ding is every once in a while? If it notices that there's too much drain from me doing the HD video over the battery over a period of time, because I've got it plugged in, it will ding and let you know that it turns on, and I can't turn that off unless I turn off the ability for me to speak. I don't know, somehow they stupidly figured the electronic into that, and so you're supposed to hear the ding even if you're filming, so you'd hear a ding. Although it's pretty cool in some videos because it'll get to an exact point and I say something and then ta-ding, it almost goes off like a bell. There's been a few videos it worked pretty well in. But yeah, I've taken to doing a whole lot of debunking videos and stuff here recently. But it's really not, well, it may be becoming my forte because I keep being forced into it. But I guess I'm being asked to champion this effect because I know a lot about ancient civilizations and not just one. You know, because if somebody knows just one, they probably could debunk any attempt at trying to claim it or try to make up lies about it, and even twist even little bitty dates and so on. But I am not so finite about exactly one, but have studied a lot of different ones and tried to make correlations between them. And in doing so, I found out they have connections, and it just kept connecting and connecting like that spider web that I talk about, and it leaves. Why does it keep hitting that? Oh, there's another effect with that battery thing that if it gets down to 20%, the reason I have to have it on, even though I'll have it charged up but maybe not full, is if it gets down to 20%, it'll stop the video, even if it's plugged in. So that's stupid as hell about it too, but yeah, what the hell. And I do it this way and record it off, and recording it off a 4K TV into a 4K into an HD format that's one step better than what Xbox or that I could even punch actually through to YouTube and it come out. You know, it's one step better in HD than what comes out. And I know it's not really needed because I mainly are showing some pictures or doing something like this, and nobody needs to have that degree. If I was, you know, you need that for sports videos or something, but that's probably about it. And I'm not really doing things like that. But hey, in the future, if this still lasts and things go on, this will be compatible for whatever 10 or 20 years and not seem like just real terrible video. And if I was to do it in 480 DP, it wouldn't really be any different for you. It's time upload and things for me, really. But at this point, it comes back out to you in whatever format that you've got your thing set up in. So it delinks it and runs it off of a WAD file type thing that they make. But so I've made a bunch of them about sunscreen and all the capabilities there are. But I guess, you know, a lot of new people, if I have any watching tonight too, that I've got 1,400 videos. It's just right there, 1,434 videos on here. And some of them have got old coral reef stuff and things like that, but oh, there's a whole string of Radio 1 and how he's exposed and everything, and he starts yelling and pointing at the TV, start yelling and pointing at the TV, and stick my finger in like the finger of God pointing at him and stuff. But hey, what the hell? It was fun. I could have done something where he just makes himself look like a fool, and I just stay very calm and just go, "What's the matter?" You know. But I decided to just go ahead and let it react. But you see me quite often in the middle of it, just stop and also, yeah, isn't this stupid? But yeah, history of cannabis and a lot of the things about that, and a lot of that's been hidden up until lately, where it's starting to be back. But what's amazing is how much it has to do with ancient cultures, and why it was only recently, you know, twisted the other way, basically. Um, Carl Sagan and all types of things, Amazons. And you know, that guy was showing about all Amazons. This is the Amazons they are talking about. And sure, Diodorus makes a comment on some ladies that get tattooed and fight for the men, and or fight with the men, or do things like that, and describing them in ancient times that were hooked up with these people. But that didn't have anything to do with black people. I try to bring interesting flavor and You know, I always try to have 3 or 4 or 5 things that I can add to it, or I'm not going to make a video. And while the video might make some good information come out, I've got something to add to it. Otherwise, I'm just talking, I'm just reading off to you. And I might as well be the guy from Movie Phone, you know? And there's no use in that. So I'll do something like that, banned Viking symbols, but then I'll talk about a lot of symbols and symbology and how some of those symbols are seen here and here and here and everything. And hey, they even found some of this writing in Americas. But shh, here's another piece of it. And they've all said it's fake, but shh. Hey, Batman of the Incas. I thought that was kind of cool. No, 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 no. But, man, it goes way back here, just video after video. Now that I go and start looking back through them, I'm like, okay, wow, this was back in May. And I've gone, so I'm choosing the most I can do. Like I could go, if I was on 11, I could go to 12. I'm not. I chose from 1 to 7, or from 2 to 7 to 10 now. And Fate of the Mayflower back in April, I have basically put out, I'd have to get even a count on it, but it's about 350 videos easy since the first of the year. So if I wanted to make 15 more, and say there's one per day per year that I've put out, because a lot of mine are multi-parts and things like that I could even do that. Swastikas and how they're in churches and things, and they're still seen in churches today, although most everybody's tried to change things. Some of these sacred places, they're not going to mess with that floor that was made way back when, or that stained glass window. And if you look closely, there it is right there. There's all kinds of other symbology too. Anyhow, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And what I'm going to do whenever I watch it back is I'm going to read off the question, and then I'll stop the video kind of and ask the question while I'm watching it back. And I'm probably going to do it with a voice off here and just watching the what y'all put in next to it and answering each question separate. If it gets a lot of them, it may even go to a multi-parter. I don't know how it's going to go. Whatever you'd like to know, but transatlantic voyages and pre-Columbus things. So a lot of things I can't put it all in one video, everything that I've heard and seen. I've got 2 on it right there. I've got 2 on it on another place, probably 3 rows down. I've got another one on Thor Heyerdahl and his connections to it. I've got another one about cave art and stuff that's in the Americas, in South America. And all of that is considered to be pretty much South Atlantic travel. Then I've got the ones about the Solutreans and North, and even some recent times that they found things. I've got ones on Ramsey and the cocaine mummies, and how they actually found cocaine in mummies, and cocaine only comes from the New World and stuff. And there's some pretty good ones back here. And I do a whole big series that's 12 parts long, debunking realhistoryww.com, because he actually goes into Scythians and everything, and he actually describes it pretty well. He's compiled it up, what people have said, which is something I need to do in my videos. The only thing is then he throws in a paragraph, and they were black, and they were black, and he keeps trying to throw that in there. And what's amazingly funny about that is, no matter what, West African primitives didn't have anything to do with those people. There's Ethiopians of the Greeks of the Bible, and there's even Leuco-Ethiops, what are considered white Ethiopians. And again, it shows you it really had nothing to do with Negroids. What it had to do with these farming people and so on. And people get tan out in the sun, and I do it all the time, but there I am. I hope it shows up this time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If I put a real bright room light on, then and I've even changed stuff up bulbs, so it puts that little glare that you see off of it, and it makes it even worse, and it tries to cut it off. But now if I do it in the dark, the TV reacts too much to picture and color changes sometimes, and it does that weird thing where it tries to float out and wash out and things along that nature. So I try not. Here's Christmas specials and everything. And myth of creation, Venus statues, Queen of Heaven, things that all go along with that. But Ruach of the Bible and the wind of God that hovered over the face of the waters. Abe Lincoln and what he really said. Man, I made this one, and it's too bad that a lot of my regulars didn't comment on the threads that went crazy on there, because there's huge threads on this. But this is where I show that sub-Saharan DNA of these people, it's Khoisan, shows startling new results. And black people went crazy on it, and they're all West Africans. I don't think I've had a Khoisan get on yet, but they all start going crazy. It ended up 42,889 views. So it pegged, and it's that one that's about the Khoisan. You ought to check that out. See the name there, Sub-Saharan DNA reveals startling new findings. What's terrible is if you put that in Neptunes Cove, you're still going to have trouble finding it probably. You might get it to come out in the first pages or two, but I'm kind of hidden. But yeah, there's another one on Radio 1 and how he lies. I think this is one that he was trying to talk crap about 7 Phoenician 7, and I defend her. I've done that a couple of times, but that's just because he's talking crap about somebody. Then he talked crap about me. Yeah, his whole premise about me was if I didn't make a YouTube video, that I had never studied Egypt prior to that point. So because you can only find 2.5-year-old, 3-year-old videos now that I've made, that I didn't know about the word Egypt before that date. Yeah, and he actually struts around like a rooster, like he's done something, and then he keeps pointing his finger and stuff in the video and trying to make himself look like a clown. Speaking of clowns, look at these black guys wearing clown suits trying to yell real loud in the microphones and tell white people they aren't part of the Bible and that it's all about blacks. And something magical is going to happen, which was supposed to have been this year in the year of return. Of course, nothing's going to happen to people that lie and blaspheme and try to steal and talk about the Bible, which doesn't have anything to do with them. There's what Jesus looks like. And man, believe it or not, there's a couple of videos way back here I never even released because they weren't going with what I was talking about at the time. And I need to go back through here and spit those out too. But God, I got 40 hours worth of built up stuff, and it's getting just overwhelming actually on what I could put out. And I'm trying to do it selectively whenever I do put it out, but I'm just kind of ruining it because in between I'm putting out sometimes multiple debunk videos, which is kind of like, now you're not paying attention to this TV anymore, you look over here and watch this monkey circus like a commercial, and then you go back to our regular scheduled programming. And I guess that's the way I want to put it to people. But because I've done so many debunks, it almost seems like a contrast or a yin and yang. But Ethiopians, Bimini floods, ancient lost tribes of Bible and how Scottish connect to it, and it even talks about it in their Declaration of Independence, diving on Bimini Island, and that Bob Ballard found a stone circle like what we see at Göbekli Tepe or even Stonehenge. It's in the Aegean Sea so deep that it'd have to be 9,000 BC before that area would be above water. At the last ice age, not at the Younger Dryas event. That would have swallowed it by then. So it must be before the Younger Dryas event. This is just theories, or because whenever it went back down, it doesn't seem the water level went back down during the Younger Dryas event. Once it did it and it melted, it didn't go through enough to actually take it all the way back to its global minimum of water level. But yeah, lots of these, and if y'all would, go back through them. And I've done a lot of them just common thoughts, like the Pilgrims at Plymouth Rock and what the truth of that is. And then other ones too about, hey, what did the Pilgrims try to talk to the Indians? How did they talk to the Indians? And what's funny is you come to find out that the Indian that showed up already spoke English. Yeah, and he asked him for beer. Look it up. You can go through some of these and just see what grabs your fancy. But in a lot of these videos, even though it just says, hey, what do the Pilgrims say? there's a whole lot of other information that I try to cram in that video rather than making one about each little topic or something. And I try to make connections and things. And I hope it comes across well to people. Hey, there's a giant Egyptian mummified finger that's got to be something like a Gigantopithecus that might have been dehydrated and desiccated somewhat, but he would have had to have been before the age of, well, it'd have to have been before the age of the desert being there, and it was still, that doesn't make any sense. And what kind of oddity is it? But people don't know where it is today. And Greek pyramids at Heliconon, and that dates to about the same time or even older than the Great Pyramids, and they calibrated their equipment off the Great Pyramid and set the date and checked these, and it shows to be older somewhat. And there's some theories on why that might be, other than the fact of that there are pyramids all over here, and there's ones over in China and stuff too, and of course there's pyramids around the world and different places, except for sub-Saharan Africa. But giant Caucasian skulls found in the Americas, and Roman pyramid of Cestus, and it was meant to commemorate a Nubian defeat, which is funny because that guy, Home Team History, he's just talking about a thing and da-da-da and these Nubians and everything, and it's like, that's funny because this guy commemorates a winning situation in that battle. Now, he's talking about whenever they got attacked and there was only a few people, but whenever they brought back their army, that went a totally different way, and they were banned from entering Egypt again, like just what happened a lot of times to the Caucasian Egyptians, which I've shown so much about. Yeah, I got sick enough to do one about Colin Kaepernick and how it screwed up Nike too in the dip, and then how somebody threw money at him. Yeah, Sumerian tablets though, and ancient flood stories, and fossils that look almost like wrenches and things, and I've seen people make fake stories about it, but it actually show you what it really was in different ooh parts, and that one is full of them. Haiti and how they've made a mistake and really ruined it in some way. Great Zimbabwe and who had built it, and what the locals have even said. Enchanted Rock, which is in Texas here down, and it looks like giant bubbles, and whenever you go there it looks like you could see dinosaurs walking, but they just, you can almost imagine them. You almost want them to put animatronic ones that are giant out there trying to move around, and it would give you that effect. It has that look to it. Fred Astaire, Michael Jackson connections even. And I did a lot of those because I was given 38 things that I had to prove, and this one guy kept mouthing off and da-da-da, and Michael Jackson did all this, and I was like, man, he was great. I love Michael too, but he gets a lot of his stuff from Fred Astaire, and he goes, no, he don't. And there's this compiled video where it shows you him doing his moves and everything, dressing like him, tilting the hat, oh, freaking 9 yards. Fred Astaire didn't moonwalk, but everything short of that, hey, but Michael was a good entertainer, but that went south at the very end of it, and sadly, too many black entertainers do. I grew up watching Cosby and stuff, and lo and behold, now how that nightmare ended up that people were talking about for years but didn't want to get out. There's a black guy that gets so sunburned he peels, and whenever he does, he's pretty much pink. And they say they don't get sunburned, and they try to talk crap about white people and how they couldn't stand the sun somehow, and the races of mankind and how that's taken out of order. And there's those Libyans that have those tattoos all over them, and it has to do with the Amazons and things too. And yeah, people tattoos, but Egyptians got tattoos too. So yeah, so I'm going to end this here, guys, and hopefully I got enough good questions and stuff. I'm sure this is about 30 minutes or so. Yeah. And so take a look back through these if you ever get bored and want to, hell, see something else. For I've made a lot of them about a lot of connective topics, and some of them are off color, some of them are jokes, some of them are weird things. Wow, here's that whole jib-jab thing that I did. And it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of. I edited this thing like crazy. I haven't put this out. This is from June So you can see I'm June 2018. I've gone back this far, and it's still origin of demon spirits, Pazuzu, like what's in the very start of Exorcist. Most people don't remember. Nibiru, facial reconstruction of an Egyptian. And it just keeps going back 25 pages, 35 pages. I don't know how many pages it is total. It says here 28, but it goes back much more than that. Yeah, and I've got copyrights against me and things on a few of these old ones. And even though it's a year and a half old, I got one. I finally got 46,000 views. Not the first year I even put it out, but last year during Shark Week, it pegged. And this is somebody else's video, of course, just like it would be if you were on the news or anybody showing anything like, oh, I don't know, that daily dose of your internet. And he says, look, here, they found a shark here that's beached. And I did something showing that and everything, and now they copyrighted me and everything. I feel like just throwing it off, but then I found out it was during Shark Week. I just let it go. What the hell? Maybe somebody will check out some of my other vids or whatever, but I don't like it, and it's not been copyright striked on me. It's done that. See, they don't have to necessarily strike you at all. No, all they need to do is put that on there, and then they monetize off of it, which is what they want anyhow. But sometimes they put the no bang bang on you and try to make your site go away, which is really kind of an odd thing too. That they come up with this 3 strikes and you're out. But you see videos where people are doing reaction to Elvis songs and all that, and they get totally away with it. They're still going on. What's wrong with that? What are they? How do they get to do that? Oh, they just get to. Well, I've got 14 seconds of this thing. Oh no, mister. What? I took it off a video that was in the news about somebody else from some foreign country thing. What? Yeah, and I know that it's about California and Sea Cortez down in there in Baja, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I'm going to let this go, guys. Look at that Nefertiti statue with a blue eye on it, and those Amazai and those Caucasians in North Africa. Oh man, I've got to get back and see if I can find anything about this. This is where they did the micro blimp, and they were going to get to drill a hole. They finally let them say they were going to do this to try to find in the pyramid, in the chamber there, they were going to drill a hole with just a drill hole about 2 inches wide, and then stick this thing in that would be like a pipe that could blow up on top of it, a balloon, which would make it hover with cameras on it, and have little propellers on it also for wind, and make like a little fake blimp and float it around in there and stuff. And they apparently already had the little technology and were working on it to make sure it was perfected, and supposedly they're having to show them that this works, that they could do this with the, not the hole, but the blimp thing. And I don't even know how that worked out and stuff, but then somebody came out like Hawass and the guys, and they said there ain't no open pocket up there. It's like, yeah, well, they just did another test on it, and it does, and they did it right before you came out with your crowd, right? So they tested it, and then you came out and said there ain't no other hole, and then the Japanese team comes out and they go, yeah, we did a secondary verification. There's this area here that looks weird. They aim the same thing down on the ground, and whenever it shows a spot like that, there's a cave underground. Interesting stuff. Anyhow, guys, got any questions, let me know. I'm going to let it go for here, and we'll get to answering some of your questions. Y'all have a good one. Peace.